paperwork grades, like checking in on the academic situation stuff today. And then you'll get a bunch of papers, and then we can talk. First, I think a lot of students wanted to talk about EDU. Let's see here. Number one, I've entered Unit 7 and Unit 8 basics. So listen very carefully for what's in there. You'll notice a lot of things are left out. Unit 7 homework, Unit 7 exam, Unit 7 movies, Unit 8 homework, Unit 8 exam. What?
Unit 7 homework is
What? Let me tell you what's in. Unit 7 homework, Unit 7 exam. Did I mess that up?
Yeah.
I was trying to be clear. Thanks for catching that. Unit 7 homework, Unit 7 exam, Unit 7 movies, Unit 8 homework, Unit 8 exam. What's not in is the Unit 7 article submissions, Green Club activities, the things in the straggler box that were added in the last, I think, 5 days, the Unit 8 movies, and your Don't Lose This. Unfortunately, I had a new TA entering that packet, and they just said, yes, the paper is here, and gave you a check mark instead of the number score on the Don't Lose This. So that's not entered right now. For many of you, that would help your grade. It's not entered as missing either, it's just not recorded. There's a few things happening with the grades. So first of all, by entering Unit 8, many more students came up than went down. So, of course, it's possible that somebody with a good Unit 7 had a bad Unit 8. I had about 3 kids who went down a letter, but I had like 6 kids who went up a letter, or went up from like a minus to a plus within a letter. You went up 2 letters? Yeah, I mean, you went down 2 letters? All right, see, what's up you lose? Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it's a typo or something. Okay, well, never mind. I don't care about that anymore. Some grade stuff. There is one disturbing pattern that really stands out for me. Most of my classes, most of my years, there's this general, like, yes, I'm figuring out the exams, and the exam average tends to rise. It's true that Unit 7 kind of shows a dip in that, and again, Unit 9 ahead of you shows a dip too because of the details in this unit. But there's something really surprising going on for period number 2, and by the way, it's happening for one other period. But in this class, there's like a fairly significant number of students who kind of appear to be blowing off the exams, or all of a sudden getting dropped by the exams. This is a cause for alarm to me as a teacher. When I had 15 fail Unit 7 and 14 fail Unit 8. That's a big number. I know that Unit 7 is more difficult. And so one of the things that I imagine is maybe my TAs are being more strict, and that's good because I've asked them to be. But I kind of wonder why that's only happening in a couple of my periods. What?
Nothing.
I'm open to it. Was that totally a joke or was that kind of serious?
What? No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm
I still can't hear you.
not talking.
Okay, sorry, fine. What worries me is that kids are like, screw it, I yield, and they're just not even trying on the exams. The sketchy thing is, there's like only 4 real exams in this semester, and that's half your grade. And so, a lot of the kids who've like sort of gotten caught up in like the spring sports, or maybe like really wrapped up in a few new classes that take a lot of your attention. I'm really concerned about how that would affect your grade by the end of the semester here. If there's something you can do where you feel like, yeah, I just sort of blew it off, but I want to get back on it, this would be the part where you like totally got to get back on it. Obviously, a lot of students are still doing really well. Obviously, this class has like a lot of A students, and like it's all good, and I'm not like pointing in the fingers, and I'm not like pissed at Better or pissed at Ryan or whatever. Like, it's all good. There is a lot of hope for you in terms of grades. The second semester is really unique. For one thing, my review process, which is the 2 weeks before the AP exam, even if you're not taking the AP exam, there's like 25 points of extra credit. If you look at those really bad tests, like 25 points would raise a 10 to an A and still have enough to raise a 10 to a B, or a 10 to a C. So if you have like exceptionally low grades, it's still totally possible to do all of the extra credit in the review process. But that's a lot. Then we have the Your World project, which for many students really helps. Because even if you've been kind of struggling with the second semester, and that's kind of normal, this has a lot of the nitty-gritty. You'll notice this has energy, water, atmosphere. Those are like the 3 hardest. So a lot of kids start doing kind of bad in the second semester. That's why my year-end project is worth so much. If you really stand out in that project, your grade really comes up. I've had a lot of kids that walk into the project with a C that leave the class with a high B. And it's probably possible to leave the class with an A. Yeah.
For that, is it like possible not to do well? It brings it down a lot.
It is, and the one thing that really wrecks students in the project is if they totally flake on their groups. So the way that we grade the year-end project is like half is the grade for the whole class, how I grade the class and how the judges grade the class. Then the other half is how your committee does and how you personally do. So if you drop out and that wrecks your committee, then those kids can often drop their grades a lot.
So like usually you get like the same grade as like all of your...
Half of it's the same as everybody else.
Okay.
A quarter is the same as the other quarter of the class that's in your committee, and 1/4 is your purely personal grade. Usually this happens every single year right this day. Like, we're doing this with both of the units at the same time to make sure that we can all talk about this. Like, it's okay, this happens. It's normal that a lot of you have kind of the low spot in your grade right now, and it is recoverable. There's an easy unit coming up. Unit 10 is pretty doable. Unit 11 has kind of a gimme quiz. The second semester final is very attainable if you do all the review, and the review is a bunch of extra credit. Then the year-end project helps your grade a lot. But you know, there's this thing that happens at the end of the year where the students kind of tune out, and I'm trying to battle that. So I'm like giving you all of the easy points at the end so that you don't bail out. Anybody have any questions for me? Yeah.
So for the final project, you're saying that if one of your group members does bad, back to your grade, you drop it?
Well, it's all a cumulative grade. So first of all, if the class really blows it on the project, that affects every individual, right? Separately, if the committee does bad, that affects all parts of the committee. So if a single member, like in real life, dude, if you and I are working in a group on something and you suck, I can't just be like, friggin' Bodie, whatever, because that's going to affect me. So in this case, if you have a member of your group that's really blowing it, you can penalize them, but you don't want to let their bad performance wreck your committee, so the committee has to kind of step in and carry that person. If the committee just like can't get along with Bodie and Bodie sucks, then that's kind of bad on the whole committee for not having filled in. I gotta tell you that the year-end project is something I'm really proud of, and the way that the grade goes is like sort of something that I wrote my master's on like how we assess work and stuff. I'm like really, I can justify every point in that, every strategy I do. Anybody want to talk to me more about grades, questions, what's missing? Everybody knows how to use the straggler box if there's a correction you have to make. What else? Anybody see the movie last night, the after-school environmental film? And? It plays again 6:30 tonight. Remember that tomorrow's the deadline to order your AP test. How many of you have not been to the business office yet? Okay, we got that number pretty small. That's not bad. Does anybody need convincing to take the AP test? Is anybody kind of on the fence and you'd like to know my thoughts? Okay. Then, Solar has model questions.
How much are those worth?
10 lab points. Significant. It's about 10% of your grade before the final project. It's about 5% of your grade after the final project.
Solar house models aren't the final project. It's like
No.
another project.
Yes.
Is that a group project or an individual?
It's a class-wide project that I was just talking about.
Oh, okay.
Now I need your attention, please. Look, you've got a lot of time, but we got to use it right. I need to pass all this out. Stop. Pass all this out. This is the Unit 7 curve and the Unit 7 P. And then I'm going to collect all the Unit 7 appeals and tests. And then we're going to do the Unit 8 one. Those have to be separate so we don't confuse the papers. The faster we pass out, the more time you get to look at your exams. Make sure you keep track of your errors. There's only 4 exams on the second semester final. Ready, set, pass out papers now. More volunteers are ready. Probably split that with someone. So I'll put that with someone. Try to get a handful of time.
Wait, what?
So I'm doing this. Yes, you're doing fine. Daisy Owens, San Gary. Those go inside the Vaseline tupper, and the Vaseline tupper is in the lab-specific materials category. And inside the gray container.
Mine, you,
We do, because you're always, yeah, so we're going to collect it again. Also, this goes in the not glassware cabinet, and this, through Gary, goes in the lab-specific materials cabinet on top of the Vaseline.
Thank you.
All right.
This goes in the red container. There's 2 buckets of extremely rotten food. I need to cut the chickens, hosed off, cut dry inside the red container. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. And then pick up all of the tools and shit and lock up the red container. And then come see me when we finish with that. The Vaseline tub and somewhere right there. Thank you.
So, it's the guy who doesn't make it line.
Great. Very little note. We're sure the same period or two, including the starting point.
Are you looking?
How's that?
Yeah, what'd you get? I got 2. Oh, I got a 2 on the end.
You get 10.
Yeah,
You get 10.
No, I know. I noticed you.
What is the writing for
I've never actually appealed before.
We'll talk about it later.
yeah, because everyone's.
I'll tell you how to do that.
Okay.
What's each question?
Oh, that's a good one to show. That's a good one. Maybe they were just messing with you.
25.
I'm not looking.
Jose, this is
But really, they have
Good. Good.
I got 7, but I actually got it.
I feel like they're trying to be too strict and they just like start over.
They straight up miss everything.
That's okay, that's okay. That's okay. I've asked them to do this. There's a really good reason. Your fields are not deniable. So if you got your points, you'll get them sooner or later. I need kids to look at these more carefully.
That's a hit list for us.
I want like 1, 2, 8.
Yeah, they're horrible.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I drew. I really don't know.
How are we supposed to do like what are we supposed to do exactly?
Oh, okay.
What's the best thing to do?
Right?
Hughes? Pick.
Yeah, you told me to give it to you separately.
At the top, write a clear explanation, name, period. No, I don't know.
Wait, what if there's something wrong with the homework on the... Like, it says I didn't do an assignment. What happened with that? The warm-up. So it says I didn't do my warm-ups in Unit 7.
So I'll go over with everybody
We got 7 Ks.
Okay.
the best strategy box issue. Make sure that it has the accurate name, period, and unit. Put a little note at the top so I can report it.
Alright, and then one other quick thing is, what if...
It makes a business sticker that says
Does it really say that?
Yeah, that's...
Oh my god.
If we have an assignment that we did get stamped, but we didn't put it in our packet and turn it in, same thing? So like if I find those at home? Okay, cool.
Okay, so
Marlon, someone asked me to talk to you about your grade. I think it was Ken. Does this count as us talking about your grade? Or you want to talk about
No,
it?
they just, this is good.
And has your grade?
Yeah, I went from a D to a B, so.
is the answer what?
Will you please text your parents right now and say, hey, we just fixed the grade?
Yeah.
So that way I don't have to say this is Jose's email?
Yeah.
They won't think I forgot.
Yeah.
The answer is also the water column, but also the hydropower. So I want to do it. Do I just circle it and write?
I'll go with the harder.
Okay.
This is the water usage battery, right?
No, that's water bill.
What's the
Inventory? Well, exactly.
We have to
So yeah. So why is that the only one that says missing when usually you don't do it? Probably the one for that.
I don't know, but that's what I did.
Yeah.
with it's all extra. I like 102%.
What, dude?
I appeal with the peak disappointing. Because it's easily noticeable against black trash.
What do you have there?
Okay,
Throw it away and talk to you later.
With everything that's on
At the
here.
back, it's not much. So you just dump it into the chickens, and if you'd rather just dump it in the trash, I don't care. They don't need that food that much. I just don't want their buckets to sink all spring break.
Now I just gotta get my English.
But they supposed to start grading more. Oh yeah.
Oh, come on. It says it on every exam. I know, but it's written. Oh, no, hold on a second. It's like written on every test day, on We talk about it all year. I don't know how this one is. Anyway, Joe, full sentences. That's totally politics.
Chemicals are kept in there.
I'm not sure that's the thing. I don't know
We're not allowed to
Sorry.
take pictures and compare to the desk.
Oh, I totally understand why you want to do that, but I can give you more information here. I don't mind if you do a good job of
Yeah, you can't hold my phone there. No,
You're right. They watch out for you.
And then, you know. I do actually. I've been trying to write it all down,
There's been some stupid answers for the multiple choice.
and then the very last, like,
What's up, bro?
For the water use inventory, something like get it, should I do it?
Good. If you have it, you can turn it into the subscriber box, and I'll tell everybody in a minute how to do that. Okay.
Jose, can I leave? I'm supposed to go get
So, I am glad you found that. I will change on all the other papers, but I'm going to do 1 through 6 that has full sentences mandatory. So, I'm glad you found that. Well, I know it's on the how to answer the how to repeat that kind of at the beginning. Definitely on that one. How to do all the exam, which is mine, like secondary school. Who was it that just left?
that was fun.
The test here?
Yeah.
You have her test?
Yeah, I have it.
Cool.
This is Cedar, she's not here.
I also written under this, I'll do that.
Did they not do these course about
This is like you school in? Yeah. No, I recorded
Did you explain what it is? Or no?
That was just
I'm guessing that that's what they were looking at. If you want to review, you can write it down.
we still can't find that.
So the curve stays the same,
Those two right there. A couple of
and I
things.
get all those points, but I'm gonna have 131% on the test. But I should get all those points because I
Sam
actually
said
answered
that you
everything.
said they were like behind the red container too.
Oh,
And
I'm
it's more
sorry.
like if the
Maybe
curve
he thought
stays
probably
the
was
same,
pointing to
but I probably won't.
And maybe I'm Daisy, you guys are great, and I'm like super scrambled on these days where all the papers get moved around and everybody's got different questions. 0612.
So I can just circle this and anytime this and this.
I don't tell everybody how that works. No, not like that. I'll tell everybody how it works.
How do we know that we got extra? I mean, that we got credit on the extra credit stuff? If it got passed back to us?
If you get it passed back, you got it. Well, what do you mean? Movies?
Yeah.
Movies, if you get them back, you got credit.
Okay, and then what about the quiz for the winter reading? I never got that back, but I just the winter break reading thing. Yeah, but I don't. Oh yeah. Okay.
And it's a test, so you don't get it.
Okay.
Better you got credit on.
Jeremy Clarkson's gone.
I need everyone's attention, even if you're looking at the key. For people who've never appealed, or who can't remember how to appeal, at the top of the paper, you say in writing why you think you deserve credit. Like, I explained what coolant is. Then, in the body of the question, you circle where you explain what coolant is. And then at the very top, next to your name, you would write Appeal B, or Appeal A, or Appeal C. So you tell them where to look, appeal which letter. Then you explain your appeal. I explained this, I gave an example of that, I listed those. And finally, in the body of your answer, you circle the right content. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are losing points because you don't write in full sentences? And how many of you are listing things instead of explaining them? Remember that those action words are specific to the key. So when it says to describe something, and you give its name, that's not a description. I can wait another couple minutes for everybody to finish with 7, but then I want to record those. What? No, you hold on. Remember to record your scores. We have a rush timeline in this semester. It's critical that you catch your errors early, my errors early. So be sure that you record your scores on all tests.
I'm sure you appreciate that. Who trusts you?
I mean, I can always Yeah, I can't. This is ironic, but I can't read it. Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that you would be able to.
What was C?
Trying to say sometimes.
Those questions, I think.
That's pretty much it. What we're writing.
He started doing it when Joe hasn't been in a year.
Isn't that science or something?
Crazy.
Okay.
Ace. What was C? I don't see why I got a 1 on this. What was C?
Sometimes you're using credit for like to do the topic and the extra credit when I come back. Plus like the green club is like extra credit and all that. Okay.
know, but like, once you see his capabilities to run around the room,
His fitness is wins. So you win by running around the race and knocking down out with
he just hires the other guy out.
Yeah, and then wait for the
There's a good thing.
We have an extra dinner.
We do? Oh, yeah. Oh, so you want to I don't think so. Oh, cool. Do you want any of it?
Yeah, I have it all.
I got a second away, but I don't think I was going to
Just because I think it's just
I just figured out how to do it.
British news. It was like a Kardashian.
But it's gonna be so complex though that it's like if it's an obvious, if it's obvious.
Lauren, how'd you do?
Very good. It's so bad.
So I hope that everybody has recorded their score. And remember to keep track of your errors. Because of the second semester, it makes more of a difference. I can explain why if there's a lot of details. Now, if you have an appeal, hold it up in the air. And Lexi will come collect those. Everybody else, snowball your Unit 7 papers to the front. And when they reach the front, please make sure you have the right number for your row. Do that now, please.
Danny, are you feeling? Yeah. Yeah, well, you have to give her the appeal. Yeah. You have to pass the ball to my skin. Everybody press that.
Are adults allowed to call you Lexi, or is that just students?
Oh, yeah.
How many are you missing here? 3 missing? We're missing a Scantron in this row. What?
Oh.
Is it right number?
Did you walk by already?
Yeah.
No, you lost your chance.
I lost my chance.
We're missing a Scantron.
Yeah.
We're missing. Here it comes. First the Scantron. Thank you. And then how many of those?
Wait, who are they gonna do? I know like you, but you walk behind. I didn't see it.
I don't know. Figure it out.
I can't figure that out. I'm so confused right now. Wait, does she have this? I don't know. Jose, I'm not.
Hold it. Come here.
I'll hang out that one.
Now, we don't have as much time as I would like for Unit 8. Same stuff. Again, a little bit surprised by the curve. The essay, multiple choice, and curve are all posted. This one had a lot more A's, which is good. But notice, like a lot less B, C, D, more A, good. Even with a higher curve by more than 10%, that's what I expect for Unit 8. But this is the part that stood out for me. There's still the same number of kids who aren't making it. And this is where I'm starting to have a little bit of concern. I just hope that kids aren't checked out, because it's not over. Second semester is not supposed to be easy. Please come and pass out papers. The more the faster. Can you share with her? If you find someone to take the other papers, we'll go faster.
Excuse me, do you need more help?
Take some of Luke's headphones. He's got a see if anybody else can use help. Keep
I
us
knew
right
he
there.
quit like a little bit, like took a break, but like now I guess it's like I'm there.
Like 15 minutes ago. Like this is like I feel like 4 hours.
That's okay. That's okay. I kind of like the second look concept.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pretty sick though.
So the kids are for Unit 8 Curve at 30, yeah. So sick. There weren't very many.
Oh, I was like, I guess you can next day.
Can I go grab mine or not?
Yeah. Múbale, múbale! You moved to again, falling over. Somebody else has one of these scantrons. Cedar, Kit says, James.
What would you give it?
You're here. What?
Because I got 15 here and 5, so there's 25 and 15 here. You're freaking me out.
Good, good.
I don't like this.
Look, you know the only reason that I'm a high
You have
school
something
teacher?
against me.
Well, kind of, but it's like a general thing. It's not specific. It's just high school girls in general. That's why I'm a teacher. To make girls proud. Yeah. I'm very fulfilled by my work.
Why do you hate high school girls? Like, you give me a 15 instead of a 25.
You know, like, popular, so like, I'm not ready to go like chainsaw
Can't
massacre,
take it out.
but
You're gonna turn into that guy who shot all the kids in IV.
No, he's not.
Sure you are. Why did you have to be specific? Like, I said how, like, wetlands, improve water quality. Why did you have to be specific about that? Like,
that's not a real college board, one that I also
Oh my god.
I feel like it shows an understanding that I know that wetlands improve water quality.
I don't remember what you said, what was wrong with your question, so you think it's worth the appeal.
Well, it says on there, like, yeah, it filters water, but then it says you have to be specific. But, like, I just said it improves water quality, so that's why I not specific.
Those words, specific, is exactly what the college board wants you to do, so that you don't just sound like a general.
Like if I don't specifically say like clean zone and like restoration zone.
What did it say in the key, buddy?
I mean, it used those words, but it's like I described like how like.
It definitely doesn't deserve a 0. That's like a decent description of.
Sure. Unless it asks in the question for a specific term, you never need to say a specific word.
Yeah, it seems like the grading for the response is a bit harder.
So the two new ones are Caroline Anderson and Emma Cheese, both of whom are like, really good on language and everything. What?
How's that volatility sound?
I'm sorry, but I didn't grade it.
Oh my god, are you
That hurt.
No, I'm not kidding you. I feel like you
That's so frustrating. But it says that we high level is a solved doctrine. High level is a solved doctrine.
Okay, good job. I'm glad you found an error. Congratulations. Not good.
That's gonna be a lot. I think it's just. I think they probably just didn't grade him because they didn't say a specific word. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Like, okay. Where's the, because for D, I explained, I didn't say the anoxic zone, but I explained the anoxic zone.
I don't usually appeal, so I feel kind of silly appealing. But I know how to, but I just like, I don't want to feel if like it's wrong, and I don't want to like think it's worse.
Don't worry about it. When they ask questions, that's the best way to do it. Ask them
Yeah, no, that's what I'm doing.
I need everybody on the same page for just a second because we're almost out of time. If we have a lot of appeals, that's great. It lets me talk to my TAs. Your job is to appeal. If you don't think it was graded correctly, this is the way that we calibrate. It's part of the process. I talk to my TAs. As frustrated as you are about the appealing process, how many classes do you get to appeal an essay grade? Like, it's kind of a bonus feature. There's a back and forth. Your job is to be clear about the appeal process. They don't grade the tests. They just like throw them across the room and see which one goes further. And by the way, like this is the way that I can just focus on the tricky parts of grading the tests. Just because I have a system, focus my energy.
Oh, there you go, grade. Top one.
My system what? You want to type it? I have what? Fingers?
There's on here, but can't
Not really.
You said that because
No, like they can cause high salinity if the salt isn't put into the ocean. But no, not so much in the ocean. Because the ocean's pretty big, there's a lot of water out there. So if you have like a lagoon or like ponds, then that can be.
Yeah, I got 0 on my actually rather.
I mean, think about how much water is in the ocean.
yeah, that's what I thought, but I like that.
Like I described
You're being recorded.
Last day of school, senior year.
Dude, seriously, go
Flagpole.
math cards.
Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'll be the rep.
Burn up with his brody though.
As long as my foot is like break.
Well, I mean, everything hurts. This is like pain, not pain.
I feel like it's bicep.
Your face.
I think I did break a knuckle when I fell. That's why I fell with my hands closed, dragging the car. It was a total old man fall. I was like backing up and I hit a curb and I had like a total like, oh, I can't get up. Like, it was like, usually I have pretty good falling, you know, kind of sleep right in the direction. And it was just like a totally bad fall. It was pathetic. And I had my hands rolled up like this and I hit the edge of the curb.
Oh.
And like, it's so puffy. It's been like 3 weeks now. I still can't get the distance.
Wait, this is 3 weeks ago? Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about this earlier.
I thought you were talking about, oh, when I was younger.
Oh my god, that's it says oxygen levels are in the cold
Damn it, I have to appeal everything. What were the things?
Yeah, I wish I had like our water
What do you do?
March or April or something.
What do you do?
So I could like not
Oh, okay.
March.
So if I can't read, you're gonna have to tell me like what the things were.
So like everything.
Do you go to the island at all?
No, I haven't been there yet.
No. You should get on that.
Santa Barbara's made like a 14% reduction in water use.
Wait, for this one? For D?
Not when we were aiming.
Wait, for D?
We were like,
For
what,
D?
like 20%?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you're doing?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's just like,
I don't even know how to get to that.
has Tortimore talked to you? Have you gone to the BTC cabinet?
Can I appeal on the back because this is too much
Have you
for me to
finished
write
the
at the top?
Emerald approval
No, you already did, but like,
rating thing?
can I just do it on the back instead of the top? Because there's too much for
They
me.
may not look. If I were you, I would say, like, start here and then say over for the rest. Yeah, exactly. 'Cause they're just gonna look
I guess I'll just have to look. Like, you don't have to just show me everything.
So is it?
Our class only has 2.5 minutes, and so I want to make sure that everybody knows what to do. For students who have to appeal, remember you write the word appeal, the letter you plan to appeal, and explain why. But I do want to remind you that full sentences are mandatory, and a lot of kids don't get credit for that if they don't use a full sentence. A lot of times also, a lot of my students don't do what the action word was, so be careful if it's set to describe, you may have listed, or if it's set to list, you may have, I don't know, whatever. Finally, if you have to appeal, feel free. This is a good way for me to talk to my TAs. This is the whole process. It's how we calibrate each other. There's an exam on the ground. I hope someone's keeping track of that paper. And remember that class is over in just about a couple minutes. Everybody who's left and wants to stay and look during nutrition, that's fine with me. But I still have to account for all the papers. So if you're going to stay through nutrition, I guess just stay in the front. Everybody else, if you have an appeal ready, you can bring it to my desk at the end of the period. Otherwise, pass everything to the front now.
Paul, you want me to
We'll go check it out.
On your desk, right?
Yeah. Did anybody see Catherine Hawk's Scantron? No, do it.
It's for the appeals guarantee?
Sorry, that is where, but I need to do it together. Did everybody already bring the appeals up?
You could just bring us to the front.
I haven't got a chance to look at the water yet.
Is this?
Oh, yeah.
Is this good enough of a description?
So the education.
The top near your name.
Oh no, I put appeal in D right there, but
Maybe you'll find it.
like I don't know. I
Say
haven't
why at the top.
Okay.
Say I describe an obstacle.
I would feel in the past. Say feedback.
Maybe I think it's really important to keep it consistent for them so that there's no. I'm just trying to help you. Like it would help more if it was there, but yeah. So we'll see if that works. I hope that does. Yeah. You can't feel that one. Oh no, you turned it in. Yeah.
Here's my appeal.
Put it in that. Nobody may leave. Everybody in the room. Please take your seats. It looks like we'll be going late now. Great. You're good. Thanks for doing that. How many students in this row appealed?
I'm going to appeal it, but I just got a chance to look at them now.
Thank you. How many students in this row appealed? Unit 8 test. Just one. If somebody can help me find Catherine Hawk's Scantron, we'll all be leaving earlier. Otherwise, this class isn't going anywhere until that's found.
Where's Catherine?
How many?
Catherine's not here. I know.
Right.
So
How many students turned in an appeal in this row?